Has the time come for you to now incorporate as a limited company, or have you been working as a sole trader and now you've decided to move to a limited company, but actually you understand that there's a lot of moving parts and you don't want to get this wrong? Well, we're going to be covering off everything you need to know in this video to incorporate a company in the UK. So we're going to be looking at where to actually go to incorporate your company. Should you actually do it yourself, or should you actually get somebody else or get a specialist to do it for you? And then there's lots of other things to consider when incorporating a company. So we're going to go through all of those today. Hey, Tim Peakman here, and I have put together a checklist of all the software tools that I use, both free and paid, for my online business. Head on over to timpekman.com/tools to get your copy and take action today. So I want to get super practical with you in this video. I'm going to jump on over into my desktop and show you the stages that I would do to actually incorporate another company. So the first thing we want to do is understand where to go. Now, this video will only make complete sense for you if you are living in the UK or if you have a limited company in the UK, but a lot of the principles will remain the same across different countries, but always read that country small print first. So here I am over in my desktop, and I always start with Google. I would just Google how to incorporate a company UK. And then past all of the ads, you'll see there is a website, gov.uk. This is the one to go to. Now, this is how you register a company. There are a few things that you need to understand before you actually click register now and get set up. You need a few things. So you need your town of birth, your mother's maiden name, your father's first name, a telephone number, national insurance number, and a passport number. So if you have all those to hand, go ahead and continue with this video. If you don't, pause this video, come back and grab them, and so you can carry on. It will only cost you £12, and as you can see here, it is usually registered within 24 hours. And also you will need a government gateway user ID. If you are transferring from sole trader to limited company, you will need a different government gateway ID. So it's a different account. So just make sure you're not trying to use the same one. You need to start afresh. But first off, before taking this step, you need to decide whether this is the right move for you, whether you want to trade as a sole trader or a limited company. I have done a full video on this, and I'll link that up to you now. Go ahead and watch that if you haven't done so already. But if you have, and you know that you want to incorporate a company, carry on with this video. So if you're happy with all of the requirements, you can just click register now, and then you can carry on with the application process. Or if you wanted to do it manually, the hard copy method, I would just Google it's IN01 form, and then it will take you to this website here where you can download the form IN01. Now you can actually see it online, and you can actually then print this out, and then you can fill it out hard copy by hand and send it off with the check. And that's if you don't have an online account that you want to submit to the government gateway. If you're anything like me and you don't trust yourself to fill out these online forms, you can actually get others to do it. But if you have done this before, this is by far the quickest and simplest way of actually doing it yourself and going through the direct route with gov.uk. But if you want to hand this process off to a specialist or somebody or a company or a service that does this for a living, then there are a few options for you. So you can just Google companies to incorporate my business or start up my business. And I've got a few. Your Company Formations is one in the UK, and it's actually saying that it's from 1248. So that is one of the cheapest that you know that you can get. There's another one is, I've actually used these guys in the past, Companies Made Simple. It's actually really simple. Just go through and fill out the forms, and it's you using this service, but then they make sure that the form's filled out properly. And the one that I have used more recently is Inform Direct. I've been recommended this company by a friend, and is actually a great service, and the one that I use to incorporate timpekman.com. So I can just head on over into my dashboard and just show you the back end of Inform Direct. As you can see, it's quite nice user interface. My company number is on the bottom of all my emails and on my website, incorporation date, and then you can see all of your company information, all of your officers, shareholders. This is all on Companies House, the share classes and people with significant control. So this is just me in this company. What I like about this though is the documents and reporting. It actually files your certificate of incorporation, your memorandum of association, and your articles of association. and any minutes that you have. So it's actually a good online place. I try and go paperless wherever possible. I didn't request a hard copy of the share certificates or company incorporation. I try and keep everything digital, and this is a great platform for me. I can access it on my desktop, laptop, and my mobile device anywhere I am in the world. So there are a number of things to consider when you've made that call to actually incorporate your company. Now, you have to understand whether it's just you, whether you are the person with significant control. You will be the director in the UK, you will be the main shareholder, and you may even be the secretary. If you have any other people within that loop, so if you are starting with a business partner, you will have to put something together like a founder's agreement or a shareholder's agreement, and it's recommended to do that with a legal entity involved, so you're having those hard conversations from the get-go. And if you were to do any funding rounds in the future, either raising capital or equity, you can actually do this really simply with Inform Direct. They will raise all the documents for you to send off the share certificates. So this is another thing to keep in mind when you're either doing it yourself or you're going with a company or a specialist to do this. And another thing to consider here is actually what address you're going to use to actually form the company. Are you going to use your own personal address because this is going to be published online, or are you going to use a virtual address? I use the London office. It just gives you a virtual office address, and any mails that are sent to my registered office address will then just get forwarded to me. And also, just before you incorporate your company, I would do a quick Google search just to see if there's any companies that are similar to your company name. Now, you won't be allowed to incorporate your company with a name that's already out there. You have to choose an individual name, but just have a look to see if there's any trademarks or any other companies that might get confused with your business if there's a lot of similarities. And lastly, I would always advise working with an accountant to file your end of year tax returns and your self-assessment tax returns. So you can do those yourself, but I would always recommend hiring a specialist. So that's it. That's how I incorporated this company, Tim Peakman Limited. Hopefully you found value in this video. If you are looking to incorporate a company, first of all, is this the right decision for you? Understand that first. Look to see what other services are out there to help you through this process, or if you've done this before, by all means do it yourself. And then lastly, there are a number of things to consider before you're pulling that trigger. And that link once more, if you want a copy of all the software tools that I use to run this online business, head on over to timpeakman.com/tools to get my free checklist today. And I look forward to seeing you on another video soon.